Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome.
Ebony supporters allegedly divided. Was Ooni of Ife too harsh on Ebony, or just finally telling the truth? Why will a king openly say he doesn't love his Olori? Why will he do that? That was too harsh. You know that when she eventually submitted that, yes, she was going to do the full moon ritual, they brought her before the Ooni of Ife, and she was expecting that Kabiyesi would say the kind of things that he said to Gospel. Remember, when Gospel ran out of the palace, and Gospel was obviously, very, very scared, okay? And, running up and down. And when she came back, Kabiyesi advised her that if I were you, I'll go ahead and do the immunity removal so that I can have my peace. The immunity removal is not to cast you away. You're still my wife. We are still going to be going out. We will be seen in public together. We will do the things we used to do. You will still have your privileges, okay? You will represent me in events. Nothing will change. The only thing that will change is that you will not have my covering. Now, the reason why you're not going to have my covering is so that you do not use my covering against me, because when you use my covering against Olori Naomi, it affects my child and it affects me. So I'm not going to give you my covering anymore as a king. That is something I will not do. I will never do it again. And so, when Ooni of Ife said all of these things, Gospel calmed down and Gospel went ahead and got the immunity removed. And right now she is enjoying. She may not be enjoying, but at least she is there in the palace. She's doing her things. She is as day before yesterday, she represented Ooni of Ife in an event in Lagos, okay? And from what we are hearing, on Saturday this week, she's supposed to be out. That is on Saturday, she is supposed to be out with the Ooni of Ife. That is, if by Saturday Ebony does not remove, because Ebony is supposed to have that outing on Saturday with the Ooni of Ife, then on Sunday, Ife is supposed to be, Ife is the one who is in the schedule for Sunday this week, okay? This coming week. So, if the Ebony's immunity is removed before Saturday, or if everything is okay, maybe they fix the immunity to be removed maybe next week, Ebony will still go out with the Ooni of Ife. So this whole immunity thing does not even affect them like that as much as people would think it will affect them. It's just that they will not have Kabiyesi's covering anymore. So Ebony was expecting that Kabiyesi will kind of, give her those assurances and all of that. But apparently, Kabiyesi was already upset over so many things that have been happening in the palace. Yes, I think the man was very upset. And the man went ahead to tell Ebony openly that, look, he was never even in love with her. He has never, ever loved her. And that did not go well with Ebony. Ebony cried so much, it really broke her heart. But then the supporters are coming out to say maybe, just maybe, Kabiyesi was too harsh. So they said the palace has not stopped talking since the Ooni of Ife openly declared before his elders that he had never loved Ebony. For many, it was shocking to hear such words from a king spoken so directly to a woman who had lived in his palace as an Olori. The incident left people asking the same question: was the Ooni of Ife too harsh, or was he simply telling the truth that had been hidden for long? From the side of Ebony's supporters, the response was immediate. They argued that the Ooni's word cut too deeply. No matter the situation, they said a king has a responsibility to protect the dignity of a woman in his household. By saying in public that he never loved her, he stripped Ebony of her last measure of honor before everyone. But then again, it's easy for all of us to want to come here and judge. When you be person wife, we be say every time even not be king self, even your own husband every time he go give instruction, go do, and you must do your own. You go do the way you want and all of that. Most times, men to self that they get frustrated now. The thing go frustrate them. It go come be like say, waiting be this one, waiting I do wrong and all of that. It happens, and a lot of people are saying Kabiyesi was too direct. He ought not to have said that and all of that, no matter the situation and everything. But yet he did what he did. He said what he said, maybe because of his own measure of frustration. They point out that Ebony has lived in the palace, played her role, and carried herself as an Olori before the wall. Even if there was no love, they believe such a blunt rejection could have been avoided, or at least spoken privately away from the ears of elders and palace staff. But I also, in a way, maybe would think that way. But again, when now you they force the love, you get love where they choke. You gotta force the love to come for my neck. You gotta force the love that you come for my neck. In fact, sometimes it will be really, really difficult. A lot of people may not really, as in, even if it's a king is a human being. I beg. But on the other side, those who are on the side of the Ooni of Ife have, their own argument. They believe that the king had been silent for too long and that his silence had allowed confusion to grow. By finally opening up, letting everybody know where he stands, no matter how painful it was, he ended the pretense. They say it was necessary to draw the line clearly, especially as the palace had been consumed by tension, competition, and constant pleas for recognition from different wives. In their view, the only statement was not cruelty, but clarity. Now, the reality is that this is not a simple matter of right or wrong. It touches on the question of what a king owes his wife and what he owes himself. Why would a king openly say he does not love his Olori? For the Ooni of Ife, it may have been a way to stop the cycle of expectation. Ebony had continued to plead for acknowledgement. Her supporters had pressured the elders, and the palace atmosphere was unsettled by saying it plainly. They only removed the space for further argument. This is what a lot of people are saying, but yet culturally, the decision carries weight in Yoruba tradition. Kings are expected to handle sensitive matters with, so much restraint. To some, wisdom would have meant telling Ebony privately while still presenting a united front before the elders. Others argue that Yoruba kings are also men with emotion, frustration, and limit, and that they only reach his own limit. Because this thing is enough to get somebody to reach their limit. Yes, it is. The palace remains divided, as we are hearing. Some staff whisper that Ebony was humiliated unfairly. Others say she had been warned before and refused to accept her position, and that they only confirmed what everyone already knew, that, his true affection lies with Olori Naomi. Outside the palace, ordinary people are also weighing in. Some believe it is dangerous for a king to let his emotions spill into the open because it weakens the perception of unity in the royal household. Others applaud him, saying too many leaders live in lies, and his honesty, even if painful, sets a new, precedent for everyone to live with. This is what has been going on in the palace of the Ooni of Ife. I'm going to bring you more updates. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.